very deep. And look at the colour of it. I know it's silver. Welcome back. We're having a revisit. We're revisiting the quarry. Now, last time I was using a Simplex with a program of not discriminating, because discriminating is bad, of tone breaking, a high tone break. Now, last time I was with a Simplex and did a tone break around 50. This time we're going to hit the same patch with the Deus 2 Deep HC 14 kilohertz max, and we're going to have the same tone break. I'm going to take the tone break up to 55, maybe 60, so we can still read the ground. And I'm going to hit that footpath. If you have a look here, and the same settings, very similar settings as the Simplex Ultra. Now, I will be using 60 tone. I did use 2 tone on the Simplex Ultra. And there's a few added filters like filter. I'll have filter running at 2. And bottle caps at 2, just for deep air. And I'm going to go straight to the footpath and set up, and we'll get to it. Don't forget, if you enjoy the content, I'm touching 500 videos in 3 years there on the channel. Have a browse. I've got the Manticore playlist, Legend playlist, Deus 2 playlist, Simplex playlist, and the Simplex Ultra playlist. So yeah, I'm not one of them fanboys, because I just like detectors and they all find things. And what I've learned watching YouTube over the years, I watched metal detecting YouTube before I was even detecting for years. I have realised that the best channels to watch are the channels that use all forms of detectors from all manufacturers, because they understand that they all find something, and it's not this detector will find stuff where another one won't. So I don't trust channels like that, and that's just me understanding over the years that there's a lot of pushing. One detector will find stuff that another detector won't find. So I've just done a frequency shift, sensitivity 8 to 9. So what we'll do, as we found out near EMI, is move this 14 kilohertz to 24. Totally shifts everything. So we'll be going with that. Now, comparing to the Simplex Ultra, we're going to be hitting smaller targets a lot better. There's a tiny bottom, about 7 inches down. Being a tester and just a love of machines, I like the performance of machines. It doesn't matter what I dig. Even a button or a ring pull or a bit of tinfoil can give a lot of feedback of how your detector's performing. Now, it's only a button, but look at the depth on it. And it was a good signal. There's a lot of iron around it, and it picked it out from iron with 11-inch coil. And it doesn't have to be history or anything. To learn your detector, even digging rubbish shows you the performance of the detector. So say a ring pull at that depth, you think, all right, if that was a ring, you know, it's going to pick it up at that depth. This small 72 it come up, so just above a mid conductor, and it picks up at that depth. So just say a Roman coin at that depth, I'm going to get it. In other words, any metal object, anything, metallic object that you dig, you get feedback. You get feedback, and you are learning your detector by digging whatever it is out the ground. It's nice when it's history, but every metal object you dig out the ground, you get feedback of how your detector's performing. Okay, concerning the Deus 2, I've actually had talks with Gary Blackwell just before he went to Croatia, and we were chatting about any possible updates. And I did mention that with my testing, with your silencer, you have 1 or 2, that On 1, it would be unmasked, but falsing. And on 2, totally masked. So it would be nice with like the reactivity on the Deus 2 to have a 0.5 increment. It will just tune it in, especially to wet ground. You have on the Legend, you have the stability function, and that is only there for, you use the IF from 1, 0 to 9, and the stability is just to, say you're on 3 IF, and that's what you use on a field, but there's been a lot of rain. You put the stability up so you don't have to tinkle with the IF. You can still stay at 3 IF, but you can fine tune it in relation to the water moisture, because water moisture in the ground will increase the falsing on iron. But with the Deus 2 semiconductor, with the Deus 2, you've got to go up a full 1 because you're falsing too much, instead of being able to go up by 50% from 1 to 1.5 instead of 1 to 2. Now, Gary did say he was passing it over to the engineers, but we'll see what happens. You hear the iron round it, but it's a definite nice and snappy shot. It's in this, and I can see the edge. It's very thin. I don't think it's enamoured, because that doesn't happen to me very often. Oh, it's a clog clasp. Yeah, clog clasp for wooden shoes. Being on a footpath, expect some of them around 1800s. Just realised one of my New Year's resolutions for the channel was to bring a toothbrush, and yeah, I haven't got one. So I'll sort that out. There might be a bit of design on that somewhere. Okay. One thing I found strange about the Deus 2 is there's no manual ground balance. Now, I do know that the more frequencies that you're running, it's harder to ground balance them all without one not getting ground balanced, if you know what I mean. It's running quite a lot of frequencies simultaneously, more than other detectors. It's a great tone, that. Maybe that's why there's no manual ground balance. But manual ground balance comes in a lot, especially if you want smaller targets. You can offset it by 5 points from phase, and it'll make the ground really quiet, so you can hear the smaller targets, but you will lose depth. On the other hand, you can have 5 from phase on the polar opposite, where you can have the ground really sparky, but you will get more depth. With Deus 2, an elite machine, you can't run manual ground balance where you can have a plus or negative from ground phase, which is very strange. I've run negative and positives on all detectors just to pull out smaller items from a busy site. It's like, I know Sid Perry, somebody was talking about Sid Perry, there was a little gold nugget on a test bed, and he was the only one that could pull it out, and I know how he set his detector up. He did it so that it was a small target, and he quietened the ground that much so that small target popped out, and that's probably how he did it. I wasn't there, he hasn't told me, but when you know about detectors, you know how somebody's hit that target, because he's used a negative, it might be a positive, he used a positive ground balance, maybe 5 to 10, to really quieten the ground. He would have lost loads of depth, but he would pick up small, tiny pieces of gold. Can't do it on the Deus 2. Maybe there's too many frequencies running to be able to ground balance all them frequencies. I don't know, but it should have one. It really should have one, because in extreme conditions, that is a powerful setting to use, your positive or negative ground balance from phase ground. And I'll be shocked if it doesn't come to the Deus 2. This hunt, I dug 4 holes and pulled up 4 coins. This hunt, I've dug 3 holes and pulled up 3 buttons, and it shows it's what you coil over. Could have easily been coins. Any one of these could have easily been hammered, but not in this area. So yeah, button frenzy. All this that I've mentioned, I have contacted XP and give them feedback, and they've took it on board. I've had a reply email seeing what they can do. It's just a detector of this caliber it can only get better with minor adjustments. And that's what these updates are for. Having that increment of 0.5 on the silencer and being able to manual ground balance will make this detector better than it is. So we rotate on that then, iron. And it's not digging a detector, because I love this machine, but using it, you can find out, and testing it more like, you can find out what improvements can be made, you know. And that's what we all want at the end of the day, don't we? We want what we're paying for to be the best that it can possibly be. And up to now, even though it's a smashing detector, it can be better. It can be better. Smaller increments on the silencer and manual ground balance. 1662, another wooden shoe clasp. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of stuff like this. We had a couple of decent buckles at depth with a Simplex Ultra on here. Looks like there might have been a bit of gold gilt on that at one point. Bit of a design. But what I'm going to do, I'm getting sick of these buttons. I'm going to go up over to the quarry on the other side where I've had loads of coins. And we'll go do some con shooting up there. Just walking up this very steep hill. Signal on the way up. Maybe part of a 1700 spoon. Looking at the metal. Snapped off, possibly. Yeah, not too sure on that one. Yeah, and a little bit more rabbiting on, seeing that it's nearly rabbit season. I have had some comments about getting permissions. Now I need to get some new permissions. So what I'm going to do, obviously I can't record the visual, but I'm going to do a video where I go around knocking on local farmers, even out the area, and I'm going to have my phone on in my pocket, and I'll put some good scenery on, you know, a bit of a slideshow of scenery, but the audio, I will put the audio over. Now I really should tell them, you're supposed to let them know that it is getting recorded, so we'll see if we get away with it. It's got to be in my pocket, it's got to be on record, and you'll see how I go through. Now it's not reading off a piece of paper, it's you start off with telling them why you're there, and then you just kind of wing it or just improvise with what's going on. So we'll have a lot of no's, might be some stern no's, and hopefully we'll have a couple of yeses. So that'll be a bit of an insight of how I go around getting permission. I have got about 1,000 acres with about 10-15 farms, so I can get the permission. It's just that I'll just carry on with what I've got, because I've got big permissions, some of them, and I haven't been on every part of them, you know. So just say 10 acres to do it proper, you're talking a year to do it proper, cover every little bit. That little bit that you haven't covered could be the fucking pot of gold, you know. You don't know. I mean, this permission here, this is a busy field. I've been all the way over the top. There's a lot of tinfoil over there, but I've left it. But just because there's tinfoil there, it doesn't mean that there's not history up there. And there's some Bronze Age settlements over that end as well. it's just nice to get some fresh area. It just livens things up. Not saying that there could be hammers, the pile of hammers over there that I haven't bothered searching over. It's mad. It's just sometimes it's just nice having that fresh permission just for the area and different views and stuff like that. But yeah, that'll be coming up in a future video. So what I do personally is hit subscribe and hit the notification button, because you don't want to miss out on that one. Now this might make you laugh. I also got in touch with Andy Sabish. Andy Sabish, he's got so much knowledge of all detectors and has released many books on many machines. And I saw him he put something on, it might be in the XP site or something like that, on a site saying at last he can start writing the book about the Deus 2 because he's had a word with XP. So I sent him about a 5-minute voice note going through why isn't any manual ground balance, why can't we have smaller increments. The ground balance was the main thing. It looks like he's listened to the voice note, but I've had no reply, and that is probably because he's been dying to get this book out. It might not be Andy, but he don't want any more updates because they want to get a book out. Bit of an iron grunt on that. So it's crazy. It's crazy because obviously when you bring a book out, it's near enough. If an update comes out, it's out of date, innit? It hasn't got all the new stuff. Now if it's in the form of a PDF, you're all right, as you can just download the added pages and photocopy them off and add it to the book, which I do like a proper book. I do like a decent book. I've got I haven't got any Andy Sabish. I'm in one of them. I'm in the Simplex Plus book, I believe, but I haven't got one. But also Clive Clinic as well, bringing books out and all these updates. I bet the Legend was a hard one to do, being a book writer about metal detectors, because it's like, are you bringing any more updates out, because I need to write this book, you know. So yeah, maybe we won't get a manual ground balance and then increments on the silencer. It's just the way it is, I suppose. It can actually stop progress on a detector, and manufacturers will stop. They will stop and bring it out as a third generation, say the Deus 2, Deus 3. They'll bring it out on the next generation, because they don't want to put everything into one metal detector, do they? Because they can make more money by releasing another one with a little bit extra, a bit like the iPhones and stuff like that. It's a funny old game, but it's all about money at the end of the day, isn't it? Profits and business. And there wouldn't be a business if they didn't follow them routines as such. That will be probably the 10th button I've dug. Yeah, but I won't be showing you any of these buttons. But if a coin comes up, something interesting, I'll show you. Right, so I'm going to put the mic near the speaker. I could actually have two. I've got two of these mics. I could actually put one near the speaker and one near me gob that never shuts up. You see how I can read the ground there? We've got little blips. Too much iron going on there. Bit of spiky. Nah. Full tones is the way to go, I'd say, if you want to read the ground. and read the target better than any other of the tone options. That's just my preferred way of detecting. To be able to hear everything, no discrimination, only tonal discrimination, as in tone breaks. Yeah, I do say I do a lot of rabbiting, but there is a lot of rabbit poo around here. Maybe it's come from my mouth. Other bit of shit chat, you know. This is what when you're out detecting on your own, it can get quite lonely. But because I'm bringing yous along with me, it's as if I'm detecting with all of you. Anyway, which I have enjoyed it. It's been an experience. It has been an experience. But I'm going to carry on as long as I can, you know. Got no health issues. I have got filthy shoes. But yeah, it's been great. It's been great. And the channel has gone well above my expectations. I said to the missus the other day, I says, and the kids, I said, I just hit 5,200, and they're like, wow. Because one of the kids did say, oh, you'll never, you know. And we was all surprised when I hit 1,000. That was like a big thing. I've got 1,000 subscribers, which I don't really think I'm a proper YouTuber. I'm just using this channel to teach, because yeah, I've put a lot of time into learning. I mean, I've got the electrical background anyway, 20 years, electrical engineer, installations. I know how electrics work. Plus, I've got an interest of it. So I do read a lot. I read a lot. I've got the inside the metal detector book. I'm on my second run through. The first run through, I highlight all the important parts because there can be a lot of gibber. And the more you read it, some bits I'll read a page and then it's like, I'm not too sure what that means. So I'll go back. I won't carry on with the book until I know what it's going on about, you know. And that's the way I've done it. I've had that book around a year now. It's ragged. It's absolutely ragged, that book. It looks like it's been in ground for 100 years and I've dug it up, to be honest. But it's been well used, well read, and it's a great book to refer to. It's the second edition. I'm hoping they're going to bring the third edition out. I might have to get into contact with him, forget his name, and see if they're going to do a third edition, because they only touch on the SMF, the simultaneous multi-frequency of VLF. So that'd be great. That'd be great if you bring the book out like that, because it is the book. That book is the book. It's very, very in depth. You can actually, they do projects where you can actually make your own detectors, you make your own coils, you make your own pinpointers, and it's got all the breadboard schematics. I was thinking of making a pinpointer, so I got in touch with somebody that could do a mold that was replicating the Dr. Otech mold, you know, the plastics 3D print. And it was a bomb. It was a bomb, because I can make my own pinpointer. All the gassing I've been doing, I'm down to 14% battery, so there'll be no gassing from now on. I'm recording this because it's our first coin after another 6 or 7 buttons, and it just looks like a cruddy George the third, we'll say, 200 years old. Very deep. Now it's been dug out, the signal's not as strong, but it wasn't the best signal. And look at the colour of it. I know it's silver because I've had them up like this before. Look at the white patina on that. Oh, there's nothing on it. Oh, bit of a love token. And Seriously, a silver amongst the buttons, because I've had 20 buttons, 1 coin, 1 GARRETT charge, and that silver sixpence, which is scrap silver really, but all the same. Well, yeah, over 300 years old. Partially dug. 85, 86 sounds great. Four inches down. I've been impressed with the phase 2 today. I've dug loads of buttons, but all different sizes and all different depths. And that silver was the highest conductor of metal in the world, but at that depth on this ground, that was impressive. Out of a big charge and buckle, and it sounded good. Fact of fact. So I'm going to call it a do at that. I'll show you now. Been out 2 hours. There's a lot of items, mostly buttons, bit of silver at the end there, bit of a buckle, but so many buttons. I think there's some loose in me. I've had silver looking buttons, some back, so all sizes, some good depths, some tiny ones, which all shows not the best thing of history, still history, but it all shows performance of the detector. It's done really good today in them settings. I need to say a big thank you. Subscribers and reviews just let me know that people are seeing my material and hopefully helping out. And I do know it is, because I've had 2 great that I can remember. I've had a lot of really good feedback, but I've had 2 that have really stuck and really made me want to push and do more and do more. One of them was, I think it might have been on Facebook, about my channel and saying that for learning your detector, my channel explains the workings and how a detector works and why it works more than any channel on YouTube, and that just absolutely blew me away, that people are actually learning off my channel. And another one saying, thanks very much, you've learnt me so much on the legend, you've learnt me so much about metal detecting over the years, been watching you since like 3 years ago on the Simplex and that, and they've learnt so much. And that was the aim of the channel. That's why I changed. I mean, right from the beginning, if you watch my Simplex videos, which was the first year, I was doing I wasn't just digging up history, I was showing the way detectors work, and knowing that, it will make you a better detectorist. That's when you become a detectorist. You know, when you can go on any machine, you can tune it in, and you know what's going on under the ground. And I've got to say, I know a lot of people are against testing, but testing and having that test garden has just, I've been detecting 3 years, and it's just fucking pushed me so far of learning a detector, because I know how they lay, even the air test, I know how they lay, and when I go on the field, I can replicate what's in the ground because I've done air tests, because I can see that air test. It's like, oh, I had that problem here, I had that problem here, that's something next to iron, that is iron, because I've tested. And that has just took me to, well, it's advanced my years, as in I've only been detecting 3 years, but I feel like I'm more advanced on a detector because of the testing. And it helps out in the field because you're relating to what you've seen and what you've done. And testing wise, you've seen my videos, I've shown you a lot, but I've done a lot more testing than a show, because I will not say anything on my channel unless I know 100% for sure that there's something wrong with something, or something's right with something. which went with the full tones. I want full tones on this, which is absolutely brilliant now with this update. I wouldn't have said anything about something being wrong with the detector if I wasn't 100% sure, and that's why I got in contact with other people that have been using the detector longer and have been detecting 25-30 years, because I'd only be detecting 2, but I knew there was something wrong with it, and they were going, you're right, there is. So that's when I publicised it on my channel. Then there's a lot of people out there, it's their way and no other person's way. Just because one person says that there's something wrong with a detector doesn't mean there's something wrong with a detector. It takes a lot of people to say it. So yeah, so I'll be carrying on doing what I'm doing. I'm not gonna how much do I earn? £60 a month I earn some off my sponsors as well. I earn more off my sponsors than I do for YouTube, and it's less work. From people using my 10% discount, they get 10% off and I get 5%. I'm earning more off that than I am doing YouTube. So, but it's not about the money with YouTube. I know it is to some people, and YouTube don't pay me enough, I'm giving up. Alright, anyway, a lot of chatting. We got a silver, and I hope you take away something new from this video. And XP, yeah, come on, give us what we want. We want more increments on the silencer, and for God's sake, let's have manual ground balance. It's on every detector, you know. Even the 200-300 pound detectors have got manual ground balance. Come on, sort it out. Yes, I didn't dig any rubbish. I'm liking moving that tone brake to 55, just going for mid-high conductors. You can tell with full tones what's rubbish most of the time. Anyway, it's 2 hours, 20 targets, not one piece of rubbish. Quite good going, and that's on a field littered with tin foil. It's a milking farm, loads of bottle tops, tin foil. The bigger bottle tops do come in, but most of the small that have been broken up are just in the iron tone. So yeah, but it's a treat.